My name's Andrew, and the topic that was assigned for this section was the value of being a parent. Now, I chose to approach this vague topic by first asking the question of why would someone value being a parent? Which is to say, what are the benefits that a person perceives to get by having a child? I also wanted to examine any common ideas or beliefs associated with parenting. So, starting my discussion on the research that I conducted, the first interesting thing that I found was that there seems to be a growing consensus in the scientific community that there is a biological basis for parenting. Evidence for this claim can first be seen in the psychological phenomena known as baby talk. Now, I'm sure as most of you know, baby talk is the highly sophisticated way that people talk to children, young children and babies. And this phenomenon of baby talk isn't isolated to a Western culture or an Eastern culture. It's something that's seen all over the world. And participants also report in these studies that baby talk feels instinctual. It's not something that they actively learned or choose to do. It's just what comes out. It's just instinct to talk like that. Additional evidence for parenting behaviors or instincts to be programmed inside of our genetic code is that when we talk to young children and babies, neurological activity in the brain and also the body tends to be much more increased. And this isn't something that we prime someone mentally for. We don't try to get someone to do this. They just found when they studied people who were talking to children or interacting with them that our bodies are just naturally much more much more stimulated in those situations. So kind of combining these two findings, this seems to suggest that people are biologically primed to be parents. So, taking this into account, a potential value of being a parent is that you're fulfilling your genetic destiny, or that you're following nature's natural will, which is to say, we're genetically primed to be parents, so you might as well, a value of becoming a parent is that you're following nature's will. It's just the way of the world. It's the way it's supposed to be. So, continuing my research, and looking at a variety of cultures and different situations, I found three common beliefs that people tend to associate with the value of being a parent. And those three things were that children are an investment into the future, that being a parent is morally good, and that having children brings economic advantages. Now, the investment into the future should be fairly obvious in that when you have children, they're obviously, hopefully going to grow up to be people that do things such as, they work at the Walmart, or they go on to become a representative or a senator in the government, or something like that. So having children is seen to be valuable, or being a parent is seen to be valuable, is that you're having children, and by having children, you're investing into the future. Also, people tend to associate being a parent as being the morally good thing to do, because when you're a parent, you're instilling values such as right and wrong, and justice and injustice into children. And the idea is that being a parent is morally good because you're teaching kids to be morally upstanding citizens, which will increase the happiness in the world because they'll fight for things such as justice, or they believe in things that are good, and it will add to the goodness of the world. So being a parent could be seen as doing something that's morally good. Also, in this third belief, economic advantages is much more seen in third world countries rather than first world countries. But having children is seen as having an economic advantage because obviously if you have more people in your household, that is more people that can bring income into the family. And the studies I looked at, particularly in the third world, children were seen as economic advantages because as early as the age of the age of 5, children can be sent to work in the fields or even in factories where there are no child labor laws. So another potential value of being a parent is that by having children, you have more sources of income for the household. And moving on to where a bulk of my research occurred was the common idea or belief that children bring happiness, or kind of the overarching idea that we probably have all heard either through the media or through other people, is that people who have children are happier than those who don't. And after doing an exhaustive research on this topic through various psychological studies, I found this is actually not true at all. And what I found is that evidence seems to indicate that having children has a negative impact on the psychological well-being of parents. And these findings come from self-reports where parents report that they seem less happier than other groups, such as people who either have less children or no children at all. And also, universally, parents seem to have higher rates of worrying. They report that they worry much more about various different things. Now, some evidence does seem to suggest that having children does lead to positive outcomes, but these studies prove to be, or they prove that these positive outcomes are short-lived and are usually minute. They're not very powerful at all. So the value of that children provide happiness or increased happiness to you is actually something that's not true at all, even though that is a common belief that's being held today. So to go over kind of the things I discussed, one potential value of being a parent is that you're fulfilling your genetic destiny. You're going with the kind of Mother Nature's will, so to speak. You're doing what nature, God, or whatever has intended for the human race. Also, potential values is that you're investing into the future. You're putting future workers, future senators, representatives into the population. You're also adding value by contributing morally by teaching kids right from wrong, creating upstanding individuals to work in the human race. You also have the value, or contribute to the value of being a parent, in that you have economic advantages of having children, in that there are tax breaks from the government that are given from having children, and there's also the sources of income that children can provide for you. And also, you could say there is a value of happiness as being a parent. As I did say, studies have reported that overall people who have children seem to be less happy and to be more worried and more susceptible to mental disorders such as depression. But parents, on the other hand, who haven't participated in this study, seem to always report that having children always makes you happier, that having these memories is much better than not having them. So a potential value to being a parent, at least in the research that I've seen, is that it could make you happier, even though current empirical research seems to suggest the opposite. So I hope that my research will help you write your paper in some way, and I hope that you have a better understanding of potential values of being a parent. But I will like to say towards at the end of this video that there are many more values that could be found out there, but the main message that I got from my research is that the value of being a parent is very subjective, person to person. There is no set way of saying, is being a parent valuable? There is just no easy answer to that. You could look at the happiness that it brings you, you could look at the economic advantages it brings you, or the future investments you make, but the real answer comes from you. I mean, comes from the person. So either, you want to have children for some reasons or you don't, but there really is no set way to define, is being a parent valuable at all? So I hope you enjoyed my presentation on this, and I hope you found it informative and useful. See you next time.